and welcome to day 2.
Yes, good morning.
It is a cold one.
Freezing.
So yesterday was kind of eventful. We actually didn't get across the border until, well, I guess it was after 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was just after 3
Yeah.
by the time we got there.
So it was a late pull-in. I think we rolled into Bowling Green here at around, it was around 8 o'clock.
Yeah, because we did a bit of grocery shopping at the Myers just up the road.
Picked up some food,
Yeah.
popped in, and it was a cold one last night, let me tell you.
And it
Holy
is
smokes.
this morning.
And it is this morning. So we're at our first location here as we make our way to Arizona, and we are at Snooks Dream Car. And this is an amazing place. I mean, they've got some really old, beautiful vintage cars here. And take a look, guys. Enjoy the tour. All right, how you doing? It's Rob from TOL Photography, and we are here today at Snooks Dream Car, and with me here is Terry.
Yeah.
So, Terry, can you please tell me, how did this start?
Well, the owner and his late father, would be Jeff Snook and his father, William Snook, Bill, owned a manufacturing company here in town in Bowling Green.
Oh, wow.
And they had an offer to sell to a big corporation, which they took, which was beneficial to them. And they weren't the kind of guys who could do nothing in their retirement. So they took all these wonderful things you see in here, which was their hobby. The automobile is, both of them are car guys. Jeff still races.
Oh, wow.
Vintage races, you'll see the car out in the museum. But they decided to make that their next venture. And they built this building, hired me away from a local shop, and Jeff and I he had known about me before because I have a Triumph and he races Triumphs.
Oh, fantastic.
And he knows that I'm a car guy.
So how long have you been in with, I guess, the Snook family?
I've been here since before they opened this building. This was here in May of this year. 2022 is our 20th anniversary in the building.
Oh, fantastic.
And I came on board about a year before that. They had a little tiny place in town. They just had to use like office space essentially and a small garage till they could get this put together.
Wow, so now the majority of the cars that are in the actual other room here, are they all owned by...
They're Mr. Snook's collection.
Wow. And how long does it take, how long has it taken him to like accumulate all these
Well,
cars?
him and his father, okay. Bill has been swapping and dealing with cars since his very first car when I think he was 15. He had a Model A Ford. So he's always had lots of cars around. And he was a successful man, so he could afford to do this. And about a little more than half of the cars, all the older cars, were Jeff's father's doing. And then some of the later cars, and I mean by later, I mean 1950s and newer, are Jeff's. The sports cars mostly are Jeff's work because he's a sports car guy like me.
Fantastic.
And that's how it came about.
So you were talking earlier about Ford and some of the things that he did, which I found absolutely amazing. Could you let our viewers know some of the things that Ford did with respect to his manufacturing? I think the crates you were talking about.
Right,
and
there's a lot of things. It all has to do with the Model T. You know, everyone thinks the Model T they were always black. Well, that's not true. The Model T came out in 1909, and it was an expensive car when it first came out. It was $950, and in 1909 dollars, that's a lot of money.
Wow.
But back then, the automobile was a plaything for the wealthy, because they were the only people that could afford a car.
Right.
So from 1909 until 1913-ish, the Model T was available in 4 or 5 different colors. Then in 1914, he had his assembly line all streamlined and operating at super efficiency. They decontented the Model T. They took all the brass off of it by and large.
Wow.
And made it easier, faster to assemble. And that's when they went to one color. From the 4 or 5 they had to black. And they picked black, a lot of people think it's because Henry was a curmudgeon. No. He picked black because it was a manufacturing efficiency. Black dried faster than any other color.
Oh my goodness, that's
And
so
back
cool.
then, there were no ovens to bake the paint on cars, and cars weren't spray painted, they were brush painted. And then sanded and brush painted again, and over and over and over again to get a smooth surface. So he had to do what he could to make the car faster, because in 1914, he cut the price of the car in half to $450.
Wow.
And he took efficiency to like the craziest limits. He ordered, from his suppliers, he ordered strange sized crates to have his stuff brought in to build the car with. All his subsidiary, the door handles, gauges, whatever it was. And all the manufacturers that built these parts had to build these odd shaped crates, and no one could figure out what's going on with these crazy sized crates until someone lifted up the carpet one day, and the crates became the floorboards in the Model T.
That is ingenious.
He was a clever man. He really was. And that's why they sold 15 million Model T Fords, because they were affordable. He made the car, his goal was to make it an automobile that was affordable by people who lived in the country, because he grew up in a farming background.
Okay.
And his target market in his mind was always farmers, agriculturalists, people who lived in the open spaces of the country. And he knew they didn't make a lot of money, so he wanted to make a people's car. He put the United States on wheels.
That's so true. I actually just finished watching Cars That Made America, and they didn't have that information in there, which I think is just amazing that you're able to pass that information on to us and every one of our YouTubers out there. I think that's great. Cool. But look, thank you very much for your
my
time.
pleasure.
I really appreciate spending time
You
here.
bet, man.
And this has been just an absolute pleasure coming here. So just to let you know, this is a part of Harvest Host. If you guys get a chance to come here during your journeys, traveling south or anywhere in the U.S., please stop in and
Please do.
drop in and definitely, here's a man that has some information that'll definitely blow your mind. So once again, thank you, and take care.
All right.
See you later.